Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rashad Jones again from Big Lee Serious About Barbecue. And look what I've got today. One of our nice Florida USDA choice grade Black Angus briskets. I'm gonna actually trim this up, show you how we trim briskets. But I'm not just gonna trim it up. I'm gonna trim it up with my brand new knife. This is an amazing 6-inch fillet knife from Dalstrong. I just got this in the mail yesterday. So I'm gonna get and pop this open and show you what I'm gonna do with this. So I love the packaging. First of all, it's nice, beautiful packaging. There's a sheath for the box, so that sheath slides off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open. A little magnetic strip kind of holds it in place. And then we've got everything in here. And I'm gonna go over some of the information in here with you so you can know what you get when you get a Dalstrong knife. So obviously you're gonna have the knife. You're gonna get this beautiful pin. And this knife is from the Shogun series. There's a few different series that Dalstrong has. They have the Shogun series. They have what is the other one? Crusader series. Thank you. I'm 42 and I start forgetting stuff every now and then. Look through there you go. So and I really love the Shogun series. Some of my staff really love the Crusader series, but that was cool as well. Again, got some pamphlets and brochures about quick care and maintenance guide. Got all the basic info on there, how to care for your blade, which is really important. This is super high quality steel, super high quality builds and constructions on these knives. So you don't want to just throw it in the dishwasher or throw it in the sink like you would a butter knife or something like that. You really only want to handle this based on the care instructions for it. And let me tell you a little bit about the blade. Some of y'all might be wondering, what kind of metal is it made out of? This is all super high grade steel, all right? This is, this blade has a 62 plus Rockwell rating, which is the level of hardness of that blade, which is really cool. This is Japanese steel. So that's the two best steels that are out there, Japanese and German. So I've got this Japanese blade. The other blade that I showed you from the Crusader series, that was German steel. And I love it. I'm just gonna jump right in. I'm gonna show you the blade. Y'all know me. I like to let the product speak for itself and do the work. So it comes in that nice, beautiful box. I love this. Look at this. It's got the Dalstrong logo on there, that lion head and the lion's mane on the end of the handle. It's got a complete through tang, which means that these two caps that connect to the tang, it kind of just goes right through. It ends with a cap. We got these two pins that hold both of those caps in place and a decorative pin on each side. I love these sheaths. It's got a little pin. That pin pops out and the sheath comes right off. And look at that beautiful blade. Absolutely gorgeous. This is Damascus, so you can see that Damascus pattern in there. Super sharp tip. So I'm gonna just get right into it, show you what the whole excitement's all about. I'm gonna go ahead and take this brisket out of the packaging. And we move a lot of brisket at Big Lee, so I figured I'd show you guys something that I do at work. I'm at home now. Caleb, my oldest son, is my cameraman right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some of the moisture off of this guy, so my cutting board and my surface doesn't get too wet. So I'm gonna get all that, put this down there. All right, flip this over, get some of the moisture off of that side. Move my blade over. There we have it. Nice big brisket. I'm gonna dry my hand off. I don't ever really like to get anything on this hand when I'm cutting. I like to keep this hand dry. It gives me good traction on the knife handle, and I'm really able to guide it and let it do what I need it to do. So get some of that water up. All right, so a few different parts to a brisket. This is the actual bottom side of a brisket, and that's where I normally start first. This muscle right here is called the flat. This is the leaner section of the brisket. And then when we flip it over, this other muscle along the underside of the flat, this one right here, is called the point. This side is really lean, and this side is less lean. It's a little more fatty. So this is one of our smaller briskets. It could fit on my cutting board. I'm able to kind of get in there and bust it down and show you guys all the different angles of what we're doing. And I like that my cutting board kind of spins around so I can show you. So the first cut that I want is to get right in here at this decal. This is a big chunk of fat that nobody's gonna want to eat on their slice of brisket. Would you want that, Caleb?
No.
So I'm gonna just go in with the tip of my blade and just kind of go around it here, come down. And as I'm cutting, I'm just gonna pull. And this thing's gonna wanna pop right out. And this blade is really doing all the work. I'm putting very little effort or pressure as I'm cutting, just kind of pulling this back. You can kind of see that just wants to jump right off at me. So I'm actually gonna brine this brisket when I'm all done with it in a pastrami brine, and we're gonna have some pastrami. But you can see how easy that's just coming right off. There you go, nice close up. So that's all that comes out, that big old chunk of fat. There's no meat in this. If I cut through this, you can see it's just pure fat. So that's not really something that you're necessarily gonna want in your brisket when you serve it. It's way too much fat. A little bit of fat is good, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, but too much fat makes for an awkward bite of brisket. So I'm gonna leave all this on. Normally, if I was trimming this for service, I'd take off this back area, I'd kind of round it out. I'd take off this little ridge right here, and I'd grind that down and make burgers out of it. But since I'm not grinding this down at home, not making burgers, just making pastrami, I'm gonna leave that in place. And then all along here, I just wanna go across and take off anything that's more than about a 1/4 inch of fat. And the way you do that is by keeping your blade parallel to the brisket, just rocking it right back and forth. And you can kind of use that fat as a guide. You can kind of hold it and steer your way through. Just don't want to have too much fat. You can see there's a lot of fat there, so I really want to get in there. Take that down. And this blade is just gliding through here. The thing I love about these blades is they're really, really strong. I mean, this blade's got a little bit of flex to it, but it's really, really strong. And it's got an incredible edge retention because we've got that we've got that super strong Japanese steel that we're working with. So that edge is gonna last for a long time with all the cutting that I'm gonna be doing with this brisket. So we're just getting that down. I don't really wanna get too deep into it. I don't wanna take off too much to where we've got meat exposed. And we do have some meat exposed here, but that's not gonna hurt anything. I'll come right along here and take a little bit of this down. This brisket doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's got a 1/4 inch, give or take, along most of it. So I'm not gonna have to do too much work. A little bit needs to come off right around here. Now you'll notice if I try to get in here and cut like this, there's different ridges. There's a lot of contour to this brisket. So I need to get my hand under here to elevate that piece. So it's kind of poking up, and I can glide my fillet knife right across there. All right. Got that. Took off a little bit right in here. Not too much. Just don't want a super fatty body brisket. That's looking pretty good. Other place you want to check is right along here. You want to see if that fat cap is thicker than a 1/4 inch. And we're not really. I mean, it looks really good. Maybe right along here, we can take a little bit of that down. Knock that off. And the reason why you want that is because this fat's gonna cook down, and it's gonna render, it's gonna start to break down, and it's gonna taste really good once it finishes. If the fat cap's too thick, you end up with too fatty of a bite, and the fat to meat ratio is off. Just like with a good sandwich, you need the right bread or bun to meat ratio. Sometimes you get a burger, if the bun's way too thick, you bite into it, the burger's great, but the bread just overwhelms the whole thing. We don't want fat overwhelming our brisket, so it's super important that we get this thing down to just a 1/4 inch. So we're almost there. Like I said, if I was grinding any of this down for burgers, I would literally just take this piece here, I'd round that off. I'd take that little section off right there. I'd take this section off, and maybe a little bit of this right here. And I may show you what that looks like. It's not gonna hurt anything. I'll go ahead and do it so you guys can see. So I just take the natural line that's coming off from here, and I just kind of come around and round that corner. Take all those little pieces. Then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I already have an outline mark. So I'm just gonna come around. Take that off there so you can see that. All right. Put a little hanger right there. Take that off. And this is just giving the brisket a nice shape. So once this comes off of the smoker, I'm gonna wrap this in some butcher paper so it can continue to cook, but not get too much heat on it so it doesn't, too much direct heat on it so it doesn't dry out. Take that part off there, another little part in there. And that is a really, really good looking brisket. I mean, that looks really good. It's nice and rounded. There's no sharp word edges pointing out. I can take a little bit more of this fat down. If you look right there, we got some fat there. So I'll just get right in there and knock that down, that little ridge. We'll take that all the way back. Let it even out. And yeah, I like to go around and just check my brisket, make sure I didn't miss anything. Usually there's a big ridge of fat that pops out down through here, but we're looking good on that side. So that doesn't look bad. So this looks great. I mean, I'm really happy with this brisket, really happy with the way my Dalstrong Shogun Series fillet knife performed. I mean, the thing just glides right through the meat like it's a hot knife cutting through butter. All right, and that's what you want. You want something that's just gonna slide right through there. Look at that. I mean, it's like money. Just super easy to trim, super easy to get in there and just make every single precision cut that you need. And I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna go ahead and get a pastrami brine put together for this. It's gonna go into a brine for about a week so we get that nice, good pastrami flavor in there. And when it's time to slice it, I'll show you what knife I'm gonna use to slice it when it's finished. So thanks for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Click the link below for more information. And I love you guys. Peace.